Hello, everyone. This is Manny from Ample Logic. And as you see today, the agenda of the topic is like smart pharma. And here I would like to present how to accelerate the digitalization in pharma with low-code platforms. So some of you may aware of low-code platforms and some of you may not aware of these low-code platforms. I'll try to give you some of the case studies, how these low-code platforms can help the pharmaceutical companies. So coming to this, the first point, what I would like to discuss is like whether you have an automation and what is the difference between an automation and also the digitalization. When an automation is, when you look at an existing, you have a process and you try to automate that particular existing process, or you try to change the existing process to make the automation need, just moving from a manual process to the first level of digitalization. Now, coming to the distillation, when you look at it is more of taking the data and applying the data. When you see digital business transformation is about doing things differently and creating new business designs by using the digital technologies like your AIs, that RPAs, and ML, right? In the combination to blur the boundary between the physical and the virtual worlds. Especially means that's the virtual worlds which are required to be there when we talk about this COVID-19 pandemic situation. Now, it is not just about automating or inserting technology into an existing process. It is a more to that. So it's completely revamping your business model. So this is the source is from Gartner. Now coming to this pharma industry, wherein we see that in Indian pharma industry, there are majority of the medium and large scale pharmaceutical companies have automation in place. But are they ready for the digitalization? That's the question comes here. So I'll try to talk about this based on my experience with 100 plus companies. So what is the roadmap towards the digitalization? How it can be the digitalization can be done? First thing, first stage of the digitalization is first step is like automating your process. Now, for example, whether you have an ERPs, QMS, DMS, LMS, LIMS, electronic batch manufacturing, or an MES, or a logs, serializations, regulatory information management systems. These are all called as business process automation and integrations. So that is the first step. Majority of the companies today that they are, as I said, the medium to the large scale companies already there. And now small scale companies are moving a step towards that one. Now coming to this, the next step is the organization should focus on the business process excellence. The business process excellence in the sense wherein you have the lab excellence comes in. Now you see how you can minimize the turnaround time for the sample testing. So it requires so much of algorithm need to be built to manage how one sample and you can pull 4 samples together and to minimize the cost, the time for the testing. In the sense, like if one sample goes into this equipment, takes 6 hours for testing. So instead of that, 4 samples can go together. So the software should able to kind of that give you the which samples to be grouped. So that's the campaigning models that what needs to be there. And when you look at a capacity planning, which is really the big challenge, some equipments are underutilized, some equipments are overutilized. So that's where the capacity planning is the next one. And the PQR, that the statistics of how your product has been behaving, instead of looking at the end of a year, you can see it in the middle of a year or any time in the year. And the quality metrics, how your how your lot rejection rates and the complaint rates have been happening in the organization. So that's going to be handled through this quality matrix. And resource utilization, how the resources are getting utilized. And the next thing is like employee skill evaluation. End of the day, how your every employee is contributing to the company's growth. So this is what once you have the business process excellence is in place, then you can go to the predictive models, predictive analytics. Let's look at when the equipment is going to fail. So you can save lots of money in the batch manufacturing. So these are the way. This is the way a stepwise approach where you can able to see the results and you can take the digitalization approach. And now the question comes in how to manage a faster application development and a lesser validation cost. So this is what is something is a question comes to you because one application is going to take 6 months to 1 year in the organizations because people are being engaged with their day-to-day jobs. So now just imagine if there is a solutions which has got these kind of integrations and everything is coming into one data pool, then you can able to create so much of the information out from it, and you can apply some kind of the AI techniques on top of it. So we are more interested in the how to integrate in existing systems. Now the question what we have been seeing in the industry, Organizations will choose the best products. Now, for example, in an EQMS, and I go for the world-class product, and at DMS, I go for a world-class product, or an electronic logbook, or an MES system, I'll go for a world-class product. But again, it comes to when we automate that specific process. But the cost of integration is so high, and each product will have a different architecture, and there is an integration methodology is totally different. So this is what is a major challenge in what we have been seeing. And so just imagine all applications runs on a single architecture. A single architecture where every application is being developed so that you can talk to these applications very easily. Today, the business are being changing. You cannot have a standard product that can run your business. You are in a competitive world. Your product should differentiate. Your solution should differentiate your competitor. So that's where a base product required lots of change is one thing, and also integratability is another thing, which really requires in today's world. Now, what is the low-code platforms and how it accelerates the delivery? Now, as per the Gartner forecast, like worldwide low-code market is going to be grow 23% in this year. So this is going to be by 2025, at least what is your expectations? Nearly 56% of the applications are going to be developed on the low-code. Now coming to this, what is low-code? Low-code is as simple as that. As you can see on my screen, you can just drag and drop and you can build the software. And you can able to create your own the workflows and also the dashboards, and you can define your own organizational hierarchies so that you can, whenever there is a change in your organizational structure, you don't need to put a lots of money for the change. So that's what is all about a low code. That at a very in a short note, I can say that how this low code sells. Now coming to these platforms allows a cloud on-premise and hybrid hosting. Simple example I can talk about, your complaints is going to be, market complaints is going to be online, but you don't need your QMS to be online. So what happens? You are not exposing your entire QMS to the online systems. You are keeping that as an on-premise, and you're exposing only the complaint handling part, which the sales guys going to access it, or the distributors or the C&F. So those part which you are going to be online. But other QMS part, your root causing investigations and everything is going to be on-premise. So these platforms gives that kind of flexibility. Right. So now, how you can apply the low code to the CSV? CSV is something which is is an important thing for any kind of software to go live. So when this is a typical model of a CSV, what it happens, where there is a user requirements are there, and you have functional requirements, configurations, and everything. So imagine when the customer is when a software vendor like says that, yes, you give me URS, I can just demonstrate you the application in just like 4 days of time. So that's what is nothing but this the configuration and experimentation. With low-code platforms, they can get your 80% of your application developed in not less than the 4 or 5 days. So that's it. So once you have the solution, then you can be able to visualize that and can see how your in the initial the user who is going to experience the system, not after the OQ, he's going to experience the system on the day one that when the project is being started. So that's what is the beauty of this low-code platform. This gives the configuration and experimentation facility. Now, when I look at these platforms, right, you are going to bridge the gap between technology vendor and business user. Technology vendor, will not understand the business problem. Business user will not understand technology problem. So these particular low-code platforms, because the technology vendor is just dragging and building the software in front of you, the business user can experience it. So you don't need to go back to his office to write a code and all these things. So that's the beauty of having the low-code platform. And realizing the requirements in the early stage of the project, because but the vendor and also business user, they are more clear on what should be the project scope is. So at the initial requirements. Next, no repetitive documentation. So because you are being clear on that, and the great reduction in validation cost. So now this is what is as a low-code platform, it adds value to your application development and your validation. Now coming to this, now recently USFDA has come with a draft CSA, right? This is the current CSA approach, where you have a document, you put a more amount of time and effort into the document and also testing activities, then you keep a lesser amount of time in the assurance and also critical thinking. That's the current CSV approach. Now is going to be you are going to put a more effort into the critical thinking, and assurance is a second importance what you give it. Testing is the third importance, and the documentation is the least importance what you're giving. That least is nothing but you give any importance. You give an importance, but you get everything that the beforehand when because you are visually seeing the systems. Now, the CSA approach, as an Ample Logic, we try to link the CSA approach with the low-code platforms. So when you see the low-code platform, and this is going to help you in achieving a CSA model very effectively. So this is you can, as a company, you can adopt the latest technology trends, and you can able to apply to the regulatory requirements, which are the upcoming regulatory requirements. So this is that as a how the low-code is going to help you in your CSA model, right? Now, as an Ample Logic, we have been built these many products, right, and the custom services on this particular platform. And you can see that we have Ample Logic team. We adopted this platform in 2012 when we started this company as an Ample Logic. And we created 14 products using this platform, and 100 plus customers have been experiencing the value of low code. How we try to make this happen, right? So just to give you a glance through the system, so if you can see my screen, so here you can see that how this particular low code looks like. So it is just simple, just drag and drop. You just drag and drop, and you can just create an application here, right? And you can have the application can be seen with how it looks like mobile and tab and everything. And you can just simply create the workflows, how these workflows can be, how the application flow that should be there in the system. In the same way, if you wanted to build a dashboards, now that something is a need today need of the hour. And if you wanted to build some dashboards also, you just click on this. You just create your own dashboards, whatever the dashboards that you want, you can just build your own dashboards and just link it with an easy to use thing. So that the way that the pharma companies are being moving towards, that some of the CIOs I have been talking to, that they have been trying to adopt this particular low code platforms within their organizations. So that's it. Thanks for your time.